I think this is going to be a very different tone to the videos that I normally make. In the past few days, we have learned about the passing of Chester from Linkin Park, and we learned about mental illness. Everyone on the internet talks about how nobody is bringing up the subject of mental illness, and they talk about how, you know, like, oh, just get help, get over it. And I just don't think that people understand that it's a lot deeper than that, that mental illness starts manifesting in childhood. It manifests and it becomes the way you perceive the world. It becomes the way your inner voice speaks to you. It becomes your dialogue. It becomes how you cope with things. It becomes how you handle situations. Does this look like the face of mental illness? Does this look like someone that's wanted to die? Does this look like someone that has wanted to commit suicide? Does this look like somebody that has the worst negative self-talk in their brain, that does feel and had felt in her life that people would be better off without her here, that her parents would be happier without the burden of her, that people wouldn't have to worry about appeasing her emotions anymore? Does this look like the face of somebody that felt too sensitive for this world and felt like anything she did was never good enough and she would never be good enough for anything and she just wanted to end it all? Because people don't look like they have mental illness. They actually look quite the opposite. They look like people that are happy, people that are laughing, the ones that make everyone in the crowd laugh, but they are the most tortured internally. Right now, we are currently in one of the largest awakenings of the divine male. And what that means is men right now are having these sparks of depression. They're having these sparks of all of their emotions coming to the surface at once, and they don't know how to handle it. Men are taught very young, as boys are tough, girls cry. Boys shouldn't react to things, girls are overdramatic. So boys in their life learn or feel like they're not allowed to have emotions about things. It would be stupid to have emotions. People will make fun of them. So as a young child, boys are digging their emotions down deeper and deeper as time goes. They find that they have no coping skills. They don't know how to react to things. And as a young man, if you have a dad that maybe treats you that way and doesn't allow you to feel like you're allowed to admit emotion, or he'll make fun of you, that male is never going to speak his emotions, is he's going to feel like there's something wrong with him for actually having them. And what does that do? That is the breeding ground of depression. That is the breeding ground of how your brain is going to develop with mental illness. It's how your brain is going to develop depression. And when you have these things, you can't help yourself. It's like telling lungs to not have lung cancer anymore. Your brain is a vital organ, and if there's an imbalance in it, chemically and emotionally, it takes time. It takes a lot. And especially people that are in the spotlight, that it's just, you could have gotten any bit of help in the world, but they're expected to be this platform, especially when they're people that are put on a pedestal for others. They believe or feel like they're a role model for somebody, so they feel like doing that is admitting defeat until it's too late, because they just want to feel like they can make themselves happy, but they ultimately cannot, because the voice in their head still makes them feel like they are not good enough. A lot of men are very emotional, and a lot of men do have great mental illness, but they're not allowed to have it. Whether it's a woman telling them that there's something wrong with them for being too emotional, or why don't you be a man, or why don't you grow up? Men don't feel in this society like they are allowed to have a voice, or they are allowed to have an emotion. And the ones that do have emotions, people label with such horrible words like, oh, that fag over there, or that, excuse my language, but that's the reality of the world we live in. Men are made to feel like if they have an emotion or they have a feeling, there's something wrong with them. Men make fun of them because they're afraid to admit their own emotions to people. I'm not a man, obviously, but I do enough work with men. And as I said in my Instagram post, I did so much work with men on Warped Tour that have these mental imbalances, and it goes back to childhood. If a male has a mom that is too over-loving, she's not teaching him coping skills. He's not going to know how to be somebody that goes into the world and allows emotions to take flight. He's just going to feel like he's always right, and his emotions will never actually transpire. A man that has a dad that's walked away or has never been in the picture is always going to feel like there's something wrong with him. He's always gonna feel like he needs to be the man that his dad should have been, or there was something wrong with him that his dad didn't want him. And he's gonna walk through life probably gonna have commitment issues. And in commitment issues, what does that do? That makes a female upset. So you're actually taking your emotional issues, putting it onto somebody else, but then feeling like there's something wrong with you. Men in this age and right now, they're hitting a peak where they don't know themselves. They're having all of these emotions and all of these feelings happen to them, and they're having this depression happen that the only place they know how to go is, I don't want to be here anymore, because they don't know how to rationally evaluate the emotions happening in them, the emptiness happening inside them. They don't understand what's going on, so that's the only place that their brain knows how to go. They don't know how to, like with women, women, you could joke and say, oh, they do this, but women have this system where when they have emotions, they text a friend, they say this. Guys don't do that. Guys do not text a friend and say, I have all of these emotions, I have all of these feelings. Because the guys will make fun of them. And I'm sure there are guys out there that aren't like that, but I just need men to know their emotional health matters too, and you can get help. There are ways and there are people to talk to. In this amazing time where the world is shifting, the world is opening up, there are so many outlets. I need people of the world to understand that love cannot save somebody. Your love for another, when they have mental illness, cannot save them. They need to want to save themselves. And mental illness tells them that they should not be saved. It tells them that there is something wrong with them. They don't deserve to live. Love cannot combat chemical makeup in the brain that is doing this to them, because trauma or something else has caused it for the man to have this voice in his brain to feel like he is not good enough, and no matter what he does, he's not good enough. You can get help. There are ways. There are always people out there. Men, you're allowed to cry. You're allowed to have emotions. You're allowed to wear your heart on your sleeve and wear it proud. You're allowed to admit defeat, and you're allowed to put your hands up in the air and realize that, you may think that the world is out to get you, or everything is an attack on you because you never learned how to handle your emotions properly. So when something really bad happens, or you're feeling like something emotional is arising in you and you don't know how to handle it, the places where you go where you feel like you don't want to be here anymore, or you feel like you can't handle this life anymore, I promise it's the beginning of something beautiful. And whether you go to a therapist, you talk to a friend, you go to a counselor, you go to a Reiki, you talk to somebody like me, you will be able to find yourself to getting to the root of what is causing this, why you feel this way, and you can truly get past it. There are so many people out there that get past it, and men I know personally. This man, Tim Pangburn, he owns Art Machine Tattoos. He is, he's such an example of men that realize the only person that could help themselves are themselves. And he did it, and he does the work, and he has a YouTube channel, and he helps people. We're coming into the times where men have to realize it's okay to not be okay. You don't have to be these macho men and then feel down on yourselves when you have an emotion or you cry. That's a very old school way of thinking, and that's why men are walking around with so many issues, and why this world isn't in harmony. Everybody's supposed to have their own emotions, and we all have male and female inside of us, and men just need to learn to allow their feminine side to come out and allow those true emotions to take heed in the world. You can't help what's happening to you. You can't help what mental abuse you may have had. You can't help maybe how your parents were, but you could help yourself because you deserve better. Thank you. I hope the message is received. Everyone have an amazing day.